It is not the will of God our Father that any one of us should perish, because all of us are precious in the eyes of God. We are all equally important. We all occupy a very special place in his heart. And so it is not his wish that any one of us should perish or should go astray and be lost forever. God always goes out to seek the lost sheep. And the lost sheep in this case are you and I whenever we find ourselves in situations of sin. We have gone astray. We have lost the correct path. If you follow the story that Jesus has given us today, it is the owner of the sheep that goes to seek out or to look for that one sheep that has gone astray. It is not the sheep itself that begins to look for its owner. Like it goes astray and then wherever it is begins to look for whoever owns it. But it is the owner of the sheep that goes to look for what belongs to him or what belongs to her. There's something that Jesus is trying to tell us about the nature of God when he gives us this image of the lost sheep and the owner of that lost sheep. That it is the initiative of God to have us back into the sheepfold. It is God that initiates this activity, this process. When we lose ourselves, when we go astray, when we remove ourselves from the flock and put ourselves where we are not supposed to be, and we begin to enjoy our life out there, God initiates the process of bringing us back to where we belong. And this is something beautiful about God. Different from the way society behaves towards those that are found in compromising situations. God goes out to look for that lost sheep. God goes out to look for you, to look for me, whenever we find ourselves in situations of sin. What happens when people find you in a compromising situation? They take out their phones and begin to capture, because they have to capture the moment, to tell the story. They have to be the ones to break the news. This is what we found him doing. This is what we found her doing. They have to capture that moment. Instead of being helpful, they've seen that you are defeated by that situation of sin. And so they have to feel obliged to help you rise from that. But what do? They take out their phones and begin to capture the moment. God does not take out his phone to begin to capture the lost sheep. God puts away his phone, if God has a phone, that is. He puts away his phone, he switches off all the cameras, and secretly seeks out the lost sheep to bring it back in the sheepfold, even without anybody noticing. And this is something that we have to learn about God, especially when we are face to face with those, our brothers and sisters, whose sin is written on the billboards. Because our own sin is not written on the billboards, so we appear angelic, we look nice. But others, machimo yao, they are written everywhere. And those are the ones that we want to capture. I have to capture, to be the one to break the news. This is what I found. God says, switch off those cameras, switch off those phones. Help that person that is defeated by sin. Bring them back, help them to rise from that situation so that they come back into the sheepfold. You don't have to tell the story of what you found them doing. You don't have to be the one to break the news. Secretly hold the hand of that person. Let them feel comforted because they are defeated by that situation. Bring them back into the sheepfold. Seek them out without anybody noticing. You don't have to tell anybody that this is what you have done to or for this person. Just secretly help that person rise from that situation of sin. This is something that we learn about God. All of us are special in the eyes of God. All of us occupy a special place in his heart. And therefore, when we go off, God initiates the process. As we continue to hold each other's hands on this pilgrimage, on this journey of faith, let us remember that we are all just as bad as everybody else. We are all just as sinful as everybody else. Today it is me, tomorrow it is going to be you. The other day it is the other person. The other day it is that other person. We are all just the same. And so what is important is to help each other to rise whenever one of us falls. What is important is to switch off the cameras, switch off the phones, and help each other to rise from that situation of defeat. And this is what the owner of the sheep does in the parable that Jesus has given us. Maybe even the other 99 sheep don't even know that their master or their owner has gone out to look for that one that has gone astray. Maybe they don't even know. Even when this owner of the sheep brings back the lost one, the others don't even know that there was this one that was missing for 2 days or 3 days. They don't know, because what is important is to help this sheep, is to help this lost sheep, and not to tell the story of the lost sheep. That is what is important. And this is something that we all need to do, to help this person, to help one another, not to tell the story of what we found, of what we saw. Okay, we have told the story. Then what? How has it helped us? How has it helped me? Has it painted a good picture of me over the other person that I found in that compromising situation? Certainly not. What I have done, what exactly has it done for my life? If you have to think about it, nothing at all. Maybe I'm just trying to use that situation of another person in order to hide my own sin, my own situation of sin, to try and shift the focus from myself to the other. But all that is not necessary. What is important is all of us to realize that we are just as bad as everybody else. We are just as sinful as everybody else. And so it is important that we help each other without being the ones to break the news, to help each other to come back to the sheepfold. The same way that this owner of the sheep does, goes out secretly. And when he comes back holding or with his sheep, the lost sheep on his shoulders, there's a lot of joy. There's a lot of joy. It's like the whole sheepfold was missing, but there was just one sheep that was missing. Look at the joy that this person has in their heart, because what was important for them is to have all the sheep in one sheepfold. This is what is important also for the church today. We are not all the same in the Christian community. Or we can even say we don't all sin at the same time. Yeah. Some are going to sin earlier, others later. We sin at different times. And even the gravity of sins differ from one person to another. Enangu mankala vikulu so kachigumula so chichimo boom. Yeah. Others maybe not as huge, but maybe the other day they will also shock everybody. We are, what is basic is that we are all just weak. And in that small Christian community, yes, one brother, one sister could have done something that everybody is talking about. Everybody has captured. And the story is all over. But what is the attitude of the Christian community towards that person? Are we also throwing stones just like the world is doing towards them? Or are we a place of comfort? Sometimes we make the Christian community to be a place of judgment. The Christian community, the church, is supposed to be a place where people should come and feel comforted, feel forgiven for what they did. But they'll come to church and they feel even more judged than being elsewhere. They would rather not even come to church, because at church everybody's pointing fingers at them. Look at him, look at her. She has even come. He has even come. The church, a place of forgiveness, has become a place of judgment. Even when we pass sentences over that person, we don't even involve Jesus at all. We suspend Jesus, we suspend the Bible, we suspend everything else, because we have to deal with this case. We begin to deal with cases as if we are not even a Christian community. What about that tender touch of Jesus? Where is it? What about that forgiving aspect of Jesus? Where is it? What about that aspect of bringing back the lost sheep into the sheepfold? Where is it? We make ourselves judges. we make our Christian community, our church, a place of judgment. Jesus is saying, no, the church that I established should be a church of forgiveness. And when we talk about the church, we're talking about all of us who belong to the Christian community. Jesus established a church where people should come and feel forgiven, be forgiven. People come feeling defeated by sin. So they come to church, they want to feel comforted, they want to feel that love of God, that forgiving love of God. And then what do they get? Their fellow Christians pointing fingers at them. Ndiye huyu. Huyu, mwali umfwa, mwali mona. Huyu tu atambire, church. So that person distances themselves from the Christian community, because the Christian community is no longer what Jesus intended. So when we read this parable, it reminds us of a lot of things about our attitude towards each other, especially whenever we find ourselves in situations of sin. Now, what is basic is that all of us are just the same. As we stand before God, we all stand defeated by sin. But as we stand before God, we also stand forgiven by the same God. And when we realize that we are lost and we express desire to come back to the sheepfold, God rejoices. God rejoices with the angels, with the saints. They rejoice because at least one person has decided to come back to the sheepfold. And that one person has to be you. That one person has to be me. Amen.